Hi everybody, Keith with Active Aging with Keith, back again with another video. And I teased you in my last video and said that I would do a story from my book, Tenacity, and how I got lost in the Himalayas of Nepal. So I thought I'd do it today. I had to reroute my entire trip in 1995 because of heavy snows near Everest. I was going to trek to base camp at Everest, but they revoked my trekking permit and I had to completely replan my trip on the fly. And I chose an area called, a mountain called Canchenjunga to go to. And I had to fly from Kathmandu to Bhaktapur and then take a 3-day bus ride through the foothills and into the mountains to get to a town called Cavalli where my trek would actually begin. And the story I'm going to share with you today was part of that bus ride, because it was one of those days where we were on dirt roads high in the Himalayas with sheer cliffs off to the sides, and we were picking up a lot of people along the way that had grain, animals, other things on the bus. And I have claustrophobia, and once the bus got so full, it was so hard for me. I was really struggling. And then a lady, rather heavy set, Nepalese woman, gets on and she's carrying a chicken. And she grabs a hold of the roof rack and holds onto it from the top and stands on a bag of grain that somebody else had put on the floor in the middle of the bus. And as the bus would sway back and forth, that chicken would peck at me. And he'd catch my shirt. He actually cut my skin several times in my neck. And I got so frustrated. It was hot. It was probably close to 90 degrees inside that bus because it was completely full of people. It was noisy with kids and people talking and the animals. I really was getting overwhelmed. And the more that the bus would sway back and forth, the more that chicken would peck at me every time it came over. And I looked at her and told her to move the chicken, and she wouldn't do it. She was rather obstinate. And so finally, the claustrophobia got the better of me. The smell had gotten so bad inside the bus that I just couldn't take it any longer. Between the smell of the animals and the people who probably hadn't had a bath in a long time. Of course, I hadn't had one in 3 days. But I got so overwhelmed that I put the window down, and I had noticed that the boys that worked for the bus company took luggage and grain and other things up and put it on the roof, and they went up on a ladder on the outside of the bus. And that ladder was right outside my window. So we're doing about 35 or so, 40 miles an hour, going down the road, dusty, dirty mountain road, washboardy, bouncing all over the place. And I climbed up, put my fanny pack on my belly and went backwards out the window, grabbed a hold of the ladder and climbed up onto the roof. It was a crazy thing to do, but I just had gotten to the point where I couldn't take it anymore. And I don't know if this is tenacity or resilience, but I was using my imagination, that's for sure, trying to figure out how to get out of the problem. And it was one of those things that succeeded. I got up on the bus. There was 2 of the workers, young men, were up on the roof sitting with their backs against the grain bags, and they pointed at me and started laughing when they saw me coming up the ladder, and they reached out and grabbed my hands and pulled me between them and sat me down, and we had a pretty good time after that, actually. They were very friendly and a lot of fun. I fell asleep between them as the day went on. And I woke up, I don't know, probably an hour and a half, 2 hours later, with a sharp pain in my stomach. And I looked up and there was a Gurkha, a Nepalese soldier with a long rifle standing, poking me in the belly. And the boy next to me said, "They want us to go down inside the bus now." And so I was glad he didn't ask me for my trekking permit, because I didn't get one when I left Kathmandu for Canchenjunga. So that would have sent me back to Kathmandu in a hurry. So anyway, I got down, got back into the bus, and it had almost emptied out by then. I had a clean seat, nobody sitting down there. It didn't smell bad. It wasn't as hot. and my day went on. So anyway, I've got a whole bunch of stories like this that I'm going to share over time with all of you, and hope you enjoy them. Let me know in the comments below if you've been to Nepal and where you went. Active Aging with Keith. See you next time.